Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to our Cambrilearn UAE webinar. We are presenting today on a very important topic. School is merely a step to the next. So it's from online school to world-class universities. How are we preparing online learners for global success? So I'm Hugo from Cambrilearn, and I'm thrilled to have you with us tonight. Whether you're joining us as a parent, maybe you're an advisor or an education partner of ours, thank you for joining us and making this time to invest in your children or students' futures. We often say at Cambrilearn that every child is born unstoppable, and we truly do believe that education shouldn't have limits on it. We're here to unlock its benefits and to make it available for every child. So tonight is all about the future. Specifically, being a virtual school, we're going to discuss how online students from any country in the world can confidently and successfully prepare for top global universities. How can they access it with the best possible school results at high school? We're going to break this down further into the Cambrilearn model and how it supports academic excellence, personal development, and global university entrance. We're here to find out how our partner in Dubai, Go to University, also known as Brighter Prep, how they've helped hundreds of families navigate this very process. So we're very grateful for them joining us, Ashwini and Sarah, and they will be here to answer your questions at the end. There will be a Q&A, but please feel free, whilst we're presenting, to also pop your questions in the chat as we go, and we'll address them at the end. So let me begin by telling you about the Cambrilearn difference. So what makes Cambrilearn unique? Why are we so well positioned for supporting international university access? Well, Cambrilearn really does believe that global curriculum that's world-class is the best preparation for tertiary. So we support some of the world's top curriculums, the British International, both exam boards, Pearson EdXL and Cambridge International, IGCSEs all the way to A-levels. We do have local curriculums as well, and then we have added, I'm excited to announce, a fully accredited American international curriculum. So this then means that your child is able to access any tertiary system in the world. It's globally relevant to every country, whether they want to apply to Oxford in England or to NYU in the States. We have a pathway to get them there. So we believe that with our pairing of world-class academics and top certified qualifications, you will be able to go anywhere in the world with us. You will have a passport to the globe. What do we provide? Top tier, professionally certified, subject expert teachers, all specialists in their fields and board experienced. Personal and accessible support. So we like to humanize our support. Real-time data suites. So we track students and monitor their performance in real time. And these tracking tools enable our teachers and our academic support team to ensure that your child is keeping up with their work. And we do all this both synchronous and asynchronously. In other words, live and recorded, which makes our school available anywhere, anytime. Most importantly, therefore, we are unrivaled in our flexibility. You are able to actively engage with us both in a live fashion and to go and study at your own behest in your own time. So we're not just about making sure you've ticked the boxes. We're here to engage you, to activate you in your learning, to help you solve problems, to help you write and speak confidently, and to gain the skills that the top universities look for. So I'm really excited to be presenting our two guests, Ashwini and Sarah from Go to University in Dubai. Welcome, ladies. Over to you.
Thank you, Hugo. Hello, everyone. This is Sarah. I am the director at Brighter Education Group, which is often known by Brighter Prep and Go to University. I'm really excited to be here as part of this webinar today. So, when it definitely comes to university admissions, especially international students, parents, and families often feel overwhelmed about the journey. However, I'm here to demystify the process a bit. Now, understanding the facts, securing a seat in top Ivy League universities or Russell Group universities or even leading universities in the UAE or South Africa, it's highly competitive and the preparation starts early. Now, how do we plan this journey ahead? So, firstly, academic credentials. This becomes your foundation, whether you are hailing from an A levels background, IGCSE, US, local curriculums, or even IBDP. But the good news is, Cambrilearn's offerings are often recognized by these international universities and fully accredited and accepted. Secondly, subject selection. Now, universities would like to know what subjects have you selected and does it really align with the kind of field of program that you're planning to pursue in your undergrad or grad degrees. So Cambrilearn has a wide range of choices for these subjects to ensure that it aligns with your studies and the programs that you're planning to pursue. Now, one of the other important journey that comes in along is the standardized tests, whether it be the SAT for the US, UCAT for the UK, IELTS to prove your language proficiency in different international curriculums and the international universities. This becomes one of the journey that you need to prepare for, and this must start early. Students often keep it for grade 12 or grade 11. However, it's recommended that it started early so that you have enough time to improve your score and then have that score which is required by the universities to provide you a seat that you deserve. Now, besides this, another important thing that comes within the journey is about enhancing your profile. Now, what includes in enhancing your profile? It's more about talking about yourself, showcasing your interests, your hobbies, and having a holistic profile. Academics, standardized tests, or it be your interest is one part of the journey. But showcasing your entire thing about the curriculars, extracurricular activities, the projects that you have taken enhances your skills and showcases it in a way where the universities would want to know what you have done and what you have achieved and the compassion that you have shown and the consistency throughout the journey that you're planning for the universities abroad. Now, many families, as I said earlier, start too late. Ideally, it's advised that you start from grade 9 onwards so that your holistic profile is built and then your identity, your candidature is known by the university. And when you go for interviews, it's much more easier being a cakewalk for you to discuss these with your interviewers and even helping you understand how the culture and traditions work in these parts of the world. Now, at Go to University, we've been one of the top university admissions consulting in the UAE for a decade, having a presence in India as well. We do help students with standardized test preparation, university admissions counseling. Our team of consultants have been successful over the years in securing seats for these students in universities like NYU, Penn State, Oxford, Harvard, Stanford, you name, and we have our students there. Now, let you go to university and Cambrilearn be a part of this journey and help you secure a seat in the dream university of your choice. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. I want to actually zoom in on something that's often overlooked by our families. Obviously, test results matter, school results matter. You said that, but they're only part of the picture, right? So at Cambrilearn, we take pride in preparing our students for life and not just for examinations. So one of the things that students benefit from when studying online is agency. They get a sense of their own power in their learning process. It builds their autonomy and their sense of responsibility because the learning is self-paced. we promote that through our platforms, interactivity and flexibility. And that does mean that students are better prepared when they arrive at university to be responsible for their own learning. Of course, we understand that it's tough to study remotely from a distance. If any of us as adults have done that, we understand the difficulties. So we provide one-on-one support from real teachers, not just auto-graded assessments, not just automatic content, but actual FaceTime and personal messaging direct to the teachers concerned. So we like to support these students in a very personable way, highly humanized. We understand that there are different learning styles, so we differentiate our teaching to match those. We understand that some students have different learning needs. They may be more advanced and intellectually gifted. They may be neurodivergent. And so we need to be inclusive in the ways we teach and assess, and we are that. We cater for every child. These aren't just nice to haves. These are what make our students stand out. The fact that they are self-reliant, they are highly active learners, and they're not just focused on exams, but they understand how to take accountability for their own progress. This, I think, will come across, Sarah will agree, in interviews and in the admissions essays, because they can speak to how they've had to manage themselves to a greater extent than in a traditional school environment. That's why Sarah mentioned we've sent students from Cambrilearn to all the top universities in the world. She's mentioned some of them. I'll mention others. University of Glasgow, UCT, London School of Economics, Reichman University, Ivy Leagues, the Russell Group of universities. You've mentioned them. What do all these students have in common? They didn't just follow curriculum. They learned how to learn. So they were empowered for life. That's what makes them unstoppable. That's the Cambrilearn difference. And that's what I think you will be offering as Brighter Prep, Sarah and Ashwini. So I want to invite now questions from the floor, because we're here to actually address any concerns you may have or any personal matters that you'd like us to address that would help you get your child into the top universities in the world. So let's take some questions. I have one already to start with. Sarah, this is for you. You talked about building almost like a CV, a curriculum vitae. What if a child doesn't have many extracurricular activities? Will this negatively affect their university application, despite having good grades now? We're talking about a strong academic transcript, but maybe lacking in extracurricular or co-curricular activities?
Thank you, Hugo. So understanding the fact that not every student would be keen on having a lot of extracurriculars or athletics. However, it's recommended that when students are building their profile, it's not just about extracurriculars, but also there are different online courses that's offered by various resources which students can do it. Even university relevant reading. Reading is considered as one of the curricular activities that showcases students' interest in pursuing that particular program. Besides that, there are volunteering services, which shows the kind of passion they have towards their interests. So when it comes to volunteering services, whether it be shadowing or university recommended reading, relevant online courses, so this is where the consultant's role comes in to fill those gaps that has actually obstructed a student from thinking that, okay, maybe I would not be a right fit for those universities. But this is where the consultants would guide and then help them have the right path in order to fill those gaps with these kind of different courses being done, not necessarily hailing from a sports background or having a holistic profile completely. That can be built over the years. Hence, it's recommended to start early so that the consultants can identify the areas of improvement and weaknesses and then fill those gaps. I hope this answers the question.
There's a question here, Sarah, which I'm not sure is addressed to Cambrilearn or to Brighter Prep. how are the exams administered? So let me answer on behalf of Cambrilearn, and then you might want to answer in terms of the UCAT or the SATs or the YELTS that you mentioned. Okay, so when it comes to the academic qualifications, I just want to address this to Justine. Thank you for asking. So Justine, the exam boards for the British will require you to go to a certified exam center, such as British Council, to go sit the Pearson EdXL or the Cambridge IGCSE and A levels. So those are externally examined. However, when it comes to the American high school diploma offering that we have, those exams are actually proctored online, and you do not have to go to an external exam center to be invigilated. So it's even more convenient. But now over to you, Sarah. Do you think that Justine might be asking here for the other standardized testings that you refer to?
Surely. So talking about the standardized tests, whether it be the SAT, UCAT, IELTS, GMAT, GRE, these tests are officially administered by their respective test makers. For example, the SAT is administered by College Board, and there are different test centers across the globe where the students can register it officially from their College Board account, creating an account and then registering based on the test dates. There are various test dates available. It's a computer-based test now. Secondly, UCAT is typically administered between July and September every year, and it again has to be booked from the UCAT official site. The test dates open typically from 10th July until 28th of September every year. And then IELTS, it's done throughout the year. It has both paper-based and computer-based options. It's administered either by British Council or the IDP, and the test takers can book the test again from their official sites. In case you require any support or any help, please feel free to write to us and we can help you navigate those sites.
Thank you very much. Sarah, I've got another question for you or for Ashwini. How
Yeah.
many colleges or universities should a student apply for as a backup, in other words? How many options should they be looking at, and should they apply at?
Okay, so Hugo, it depends on which all countries the student is targeting. For example, a student is planning for computer science. So we always recommend US being first choice. We recommend students to apply to 8 to 10 colleges and then have a backup country, as you can then Canada, or it can be Ireland. So it's always recommended that in US, you target 8 to 10 universities. UK, by default, we apply to 5 colleges through a portal known as UCAS. And then you can, target top 3 or 4 colleges in Canada. So around 10 to 15 universities should be more than enough. I'm talking about 3 different countries here. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you very much, Ashwini. I have a question for me now. Does Cambrilearn provide assistance when applying to colleges or universities? Absolutely, we certainly do. We have partners like Brighter Prep, Go to University, that help with the whole application procedure, paperwork, student visas, standardized testing. But we also have an in-house educational psychology service whereby we can actually do diagnostic assessment. Now, this is for career guidance and counseling purposes. If you'd like to know what your strengths are, your aptitudes, your interests, your personality, and what that matches in terms of career pathways, we do have a career guidance and counseling assessment service at Cambrilearn, and you can get that testing done purely online. It's a process. It involves an intake interview and then followed by the testing, which is all done online, and then the feedback and the report. And the parents are involved in this process because, of course, they often have to fund it. So, yes, that's the short answer. We do absolutely help you with applying to colleges and universities. Now I've got a tricky one for you, Sarah. If my child doesn't get into university, would you recommend an alternate route? So the suggestion here is maybe like a community college in the US.
Ashwini,
What
do
would
you
you
want
say?
to take this
Yeah.
over?
So, Hugo, in that case, Certainly, we can target the community colleges where the expectations are a little low than the other, colleges that we spoke about, say Ivy League or the Russell Group universities. So, or else the other route is, we can certainly look into the foundation programs options as well. So yes, it's possible.
Yeah, there are foundation programs, like you said,
Yes.
where you can, you can prepare for university and upgrade your results.
Yes. Yes.
I have been asked about progress tests for grade 11 and 12 now. This would be with Cambrilearn. Thank you for that question. Yes, absolutely. We do continuous assessment. So we don't just prepare you for the final certified exams. We do mock exams and we do continuous formative assessment as well. So you will get quizzes and assignments and practice tests along the way. Those will indicate your exam readiness, and there will be a form of rehearsal of exam practice so that you become accustomed to the types of questions you will be examined on, and also to get accustomed to the mark allocation as to where the examiners award the marks to give you the best chance of excelling at the final hurdle, at the final result. So absolutely, that's part and parcel of Cambrilearn's offering. Is there any more questions, guys? Because that's all I can see for now. Maybe there's anything else that you want to add, ladies? Sarah, Ashwini, I don't know if there's anything we've omitted or hasn't been asked that you think is critical.
From a student's perspective, the things are often asked, especially for online schooling or homeschooling students. How are the practicals done, when it comes to subjects like chemistry or physics by Cambrilearn?
Now that's a good question. So we have the Cambridge International Exams School, which does require practicals for A-level sciences. Absolutely. That is sometimes difficult to arrange. I have it on good authority because we met with the British Council that in Dubai especially, not so much in Abu Dhabi, they do partner with schools who will open up their labs for you to be able to do the prac exams. However, if you're doing the British exam series, please consider Pearson EdXL, because even at A levels, they have an alternative to the practical. It does not require a lab service. So it's a bit more logistically practical, to use that word, easier for distance learners to then certify with the exams. I have one other question though. Great, thank you for this. Can a student transfer from online back to traditional learning? Absolutely, happens all the time because some students have to relocate or they are on wait list and they wait for a position, a place at a traditional school, and they use Cambrilearn in the interim. And then some students just move schools all the time, just as you move from a traditional school to another school, or you move countries, or you move cities. You can use Cambrilearn's academic transcripts and report cards to move back to a traditional school. When it comes to the UAE, though, I want to stress this applies to expats, to international students. This is not applicable to local Emiratis. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Sarah or Ashwini, because there is a difference as to the regulations governing locals and expats in the UAE.
Yes, absolutely. Ashwini, maybe you can
Yeah.
discuss, some of the students you handled, Emirati students.
Yeah. So it is definitely possible, Hugo, that a student can always get back to traditional learning from online, and we have handled such cases where because of change in the country and student wanted a change from online to traditional learning. So it's definitely possible a child can always move from online to traditional learning, be it any kind of curriculum basically. So yeah, that's very much possible.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I think that brings us to the end of
Sorry,
tonight's
Hugo,
webinars.
before we wrap up, one more question
Yes.
as a
Yes.
parent. Just considering the fact that I do have a 4-year-old child. So if a parent plans online classes and, because of the younger mind and age, how does the rescheduling works with Cambrilearn in case the child is unable to attend? Like the flexibility, is it provided in case the student is unable to, attend any of the sessions? Yeah, and how do you cope with the younger minds particularly?
Thank you for that question. We actually did do a webinar on this very question because, especially with younger learners, they do need to be more physically active and to learn in a tactile way and with movement. They don't always succeed purely on screen, but remember that Cambrilearn is a blended learning model. So we actually prescribe physical books for most of our courses. There are some courses that are bookless. The American curriculum is entirely on screen, but the American curriculum we only offer from middle school onwards, whereas the British, we begin at age 4, believe it or not, Sarah. I know that's quite something, but at that age, the live sessions are very short, and then you work mostly from books as well, physical books, and you are encouraged to give them frequent breaks and to be balanced in how you use the screen time versus the physical time and the interaction. Remember that you are able to tailor how much you use the screen according to each child and their age and their concentration ability. So believe it or not, it can be done with children as young as 4. We teach how to read and write, your ABCs, your phonics from that age. I know that's not the focus of today. We're talking about alumni and people graduating from high school and going on to tertiary,
Right.
but we actually begin at the earliest of ages. And it is possible to use a virtual school like Cambrilearn to teach a child to read and write, believe it or not. Early years literacy and numeracy is where we begin, but it has to, of course, be age appropriate, and it does need to be facilitated by the adult and keep in mind the child's maturity and their development, and don't spend that much time on screen. You don't have to. It's not all day on screen. I hope that answers your question, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Hugo. That was pretty personal. Thank you.
No, you're most welcome. Okay, so on that note, I want to say goodbye. But before we close, I want to encourage you to scan the QR code we're going to be putting on screen right now, because there we go. That enables you to, if you just take a photo of it or put your phone to it, you can visit the Cambrilearn site for details on our comprehensive curriculum offerings. Remember, we're an umbrella school. So we offer British International, American International, local curriculum, and you can explore all our services there that are offered also by Go to University, by our preferred university placement partner in Dubai, in the UAE. And please follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest developments, news, upcoming webinars. There's a virtual open day happening, for example, an open house next week, Wednesday. And there's special offers from time to time, early bird offers, price locks. So Cyber Mondays, Black Fridays, we do them all. Please keep up to date with our announcements on social media. And thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best. And don't be afraid to please consult us afterwards. Reach out to us if you'd like a consult. I see we have a question specific to 3 children. Thank you for wanting to enroll your 4-year-old and your 9-year-old. Oh, and your teenager. You did say 3 children. Great. We'd be very happy to consult you on each of your children and to tailor a plan of education for each of them. Please feel free to just schedule an appointment with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Ashwini. Thank you so much, Sarah. It was
Thank you
great
for having
joining you on
us.
screen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful evening.